Now, what I have here is about okay. What I have here is about 12 inch. Yeah, 12.5 inch. So I'm gonna come to this side. I've always liked to leave 1 inch. I always like to, to add my inches. The sewing allowance both side, okay? Not only focus on one side, because I realized that when I add it at one side, so I always do so. It's preferable for me. I don't know if you want to add it at the back. Some people, they do add it at the back at once. So I'm gonna check what I have here. Should be 1/4 of the hip. Then I have, yeah, some extra inches. This is gonna be a little bit tricky. Let me go ahead and pull it a little bit again. Like this, just a bit. I'm not gonna pull it too much. I want to make sure that now I do not even have enough fabric here. Ooh. So I'm thinking of how I want to use this fabric for both the back and the front. So I'm just thinking of how I'm going to do this. Let's see the length of this. So it's gonna be too short. I don't want it too short. Oh my goodness. I don't want it too short. No, it's too short. I was thinking that it was going to be enough for both. But anyway, let's go ahead and cut this up. Whatever is remaining, we'll go ahead and manage it up with the others. So this is what I have. So remember I said whatever you should fold should be 1/4 of the hip plus some extra inches right there. Hi, how are you guys doing today? So around my hip is 38, divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5, and make sure that I have at least 3 inches there. Let's flip it. Let's start this other way. It's going to be made. So I fold my fabric like this into two, making sure that what I have folded should be 1/4 of my hip plus some extra inches. I'm going to come here. I don't know if this phone is filming or it's not filming, because sometimes I'm going to come here. I will mark at this, let's just say 1.5 inch. I may end up adding 1.5 inch for the allowance. You know, this is an African print, so when you're working on, make sure that you add enough allowance, because by the time you press this up, you see that it's going to be small. So guys, let me check something. I want to check if this video, this one like this, is like it's giving me a headache here. Okay, it's actually doing, sorry. Okay, yeah, I cannot see very well, so I thought that it was not recorded. Okay, so we folded our fabric. We've drawn 1.5 inch inward. We're going to draw the baseline, which is going to be at this top part. Baseline, the start point line. As you can see, I draw about 1 inch. Then what next thing we want to do is to go ahead. I will be marking from the waist to the hip there. No sound. Oh my god, this thing is low. I put it on, but I think I'm going to use my earpiece. Let's try to charge this. It's not working. The battery is low. Let's see if the earpiece is going to go well, because sometimes it's just kind of, let's see. I'm going to connect it to the earpiece. Which, are you connected? You're connected. Checking here if I have, I'm trying to connect. This one is not connected. So, can you hear me? I'll be using my earpiece now because my microphone is slow. I didn't know that it was slow. And the other part is not working. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, say hi. The other part, I don't even know where I kept it because it was not working. This one is not working. I don't know if the battery was low or what happened. No, it's not working. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, say hi. If you can hear me, say hi. If you can hear me, say hi. Let me check here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't know which one is connected today. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, say hi. Maybe it's even that other phone that is connected to this thing. Oh my God. Which one is connected? This one, let's see. No, this one is not connected to Bluetooth. So we're just going to start this video from the beginning because okay. So what is connected to the Bluetooth is this phone that I'm using. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, say hi. If you can hear me, say hi. Because I only have to go ahead and continue. You guys are not saying anything, so let me go ahead and continue. If you can hear me, say how. No sound. Can you hear me? Can you? Can you hear me, please? If you can hear me, say hi. I'm using the earpiece now because can you hear me? If you can hear me, say hi. If you can hear me, let me see. But why is it that there's no sound? Can you hear me? No. Ooh. No, it was connected. Let me try something. I remove it. I put it. I'm gonna go ahead now and connect it again back. Let's see. Was it even connected? Yeah, it was connected. Let's see. Let's see. Connected to what, my friend? It's connected. I don't know what happened. Resume. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me? This is the only thing I'm going to use today because the other one is slow. If you can hear me, say hi. Say hi. There's no sound today. I know. Can you hear me? Was it even connected to this one? No, not this one. No sound. I'm thinking of what to do now. You know something? I'm going to cut this on. Then I have to do a video later on and come back and tell you what to do next. There's nothing I can do for now. There's no sound. So let's just continue. You just be following the action. I'll have to do the video later on, come back and show you. Because I'm using this other phone for YouTube. Why using the other one to film? And the other one, there is no sound. So I don't know what happened. Okay, so this is my 1.5 inch inward, the baseline. I'm going to go ahead and mark where the hip depth. So I'll be using a band of 2 inch, but I want it to be a little bit of high waist. I'm going to come here like this. I'll just minus just 1 inch from there. But like I said, I'll be using a band of 2 inch. I want it to be a little bit of high waist. I'm going to go ahead and mark from the waist to the hip depth, which is 8 inch. Now from the waist to the crotch depth is by taking round the hip divided by 4. So my round hip is 38 divided by 4. is going to give me 9.5. I'll go ahead and add 1 inch to it, making it 10.5. I'll go ahead now to mark up the length of my pants, my short. It should be around 16 or 17 inch. I don't want it to be too long. So 17 inch, okay? Let's just say 18 inch, okay? 18 inch is good to go. Now, after that, I'm going to draw these lines up with a straight line. These points up with a straight line. Just like that. Like this. And like this. Now that I'm done doing so, I have the crotch depth line. I have the hip depth line, I have the crotch depth line, and I have the length of the pants. Now I'm going to go ahead and put 1/4 of my hip. Round hip is 38 divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5. I'm going to mark that point up. 9.5. I'll go ahead now, connect it up like this with a straight line all the way to the top. After doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is to get the crotch extension. To do so, you take 1/4 of the hip divided by 4, or you take round hip divided by 20. If you take your round hip divided by 20, it's going to give you the same measurement, okay? The same amount. So my round hip is 38 divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5. 9.5 divided by 4 is going to give me 2 point this 2.025. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to place it up right there. I will just mark that point up. After marking it up, normally I come up here by 2.5 inch. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and come in by 1/2 inch. First of all, by 1/2 inch. Go in by 1/2 inch. You can do 1 inch, it's fine. 1 inch. That 1/2 inch, I'm going to connect it all the way to here. Like you can see it in here. Like this. Connect it all the way to the side. Then now, I'm going to connect this 1/2 inch all the way to this point. This is how I'm going to be placing. I'll be passing through that 2.5. Place it up like this. You can see, right? Make sure you're not making it too curvy. It's not supposed to be curvy. Just normal. Normal. No, it should not be looking funny either. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and do so. Once I'm done doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is to put my measurement. To add up my measurement here, I'm going to put 1/4 of the hip. I'm going to put 1/4 of the hip. 1/4 of the waist. Round waist I'm working with is 28 divided by 4 is going to give me 7. I will mark that up here. And I'm going to go ahead and add my 1 inch for my darts allowance. Here, this point. Up. Okay. Now, after doing so, I will connect this up to the hip depth line using my curve, my French curve, like this. Now that I am done doing so, I'm going to mark now my nipple to nipple. All right. I'll go ahead and mark the nipple to nipple. So I'm going to come here. My nipple to nipple is 7 inch divided by 2 is going to give me 3.5. And I'm going to come here and mark 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, making it 1 inch. Okay. So from the center line, I'm going to go ahead and connect a straight line. like this. Now, after doing so, what I'm going to do is to go ahead now, come up by 2 inch. 2 inch. You can go up by 2.5 inch. Then I'm going to connect from here to this point, and from here to this point too. Now, after doing so, the next thing I want to do is to come here like this, measure up whatever we have from this edge to this end, which is almost 12 inch. You can either go ahead to decide if you want it to be a free pant or you want it to just be a normal pant. It's up to you. So I'm going to come on the hem right here. I will minus 1 inch from there, like this, and I'm a mark. You can make it free pants, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and connect these points up like that. After connecting that point up, I'm going to go ahead now to add up my allowance. I'll come here, I'm going to add, let's just say 3/4 inch of allowance. I'm going to add 3/4 inch and 3/4 inch here for the joining. Then friends, what I want to do before I go ahead to do anything, you want to decide if you want to create a flap. Okay, so if I want to create a flap, a zipper flap for that matter, if I want to create it on, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come here and go down by 7 inch. I'm going to mark 7 inch right from here. This is 7 inch. From that 7 inch, I'm going to go out. You can use 1 inch, you can use 1.5 inch. I think 1.5 inch is just more than enough. So, and if you check, what I'm doing here is to measure it up from this line, not this one, because this one is going to serve as the sewing allowance. So 1.5 inch is good to go. I'm going to connect a straight line all the way to that point, like this. I've just done that. Then now, once you go ahead and curve this part up, I've already cut it off, but you can use your curve to do so, just like that, all the way to that point. You see what I've just done there, right? Like this. You can make it more curvy, like this. Okay, like that. Now, oh, I did not pin this thing. So that's if you want to add a zipper to it. But if you don't want to add a zipper, there's no need. I will be adding up a zipper. Okay, so I'm just showing you if in case you want to add a zipper to it. If not, just go ahead and leave it up like that. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I'll be adding up a zipper, but I'll be cutting this separately. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come here like this and add my 3/4 inch of allowance, 3/4 inch, which is right there, 3/4 inch of allowance, because we'll be needing it up 3/4 inch. Then here you also need that allowance, okay? Don't make that mistake. So we're gonna connect it up all the way to this point, like this. Then we'll try now to connect it all the way to this point. Remember, we're adding 3/4 inch of allowance, making sure. And then at this top part, this is it. I think this. From this 3/4 inch, yeah, this is the line. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just place it up like this. Remember, I said you should not make it too curvy. So like that, and like so. I know there are too much lines there, but just go ahead and follow that point up. After which I've done doing so, I'll be leaving 1/2 inch here at the top because I'll be needing it to add. I do not have it at the side. I'm also going to go ahead and add 3/4 inch here, 3/4 inch here, 3/4 inch here, and 3/4 inch. 3/4 inch. So just gonna go ahead and connect, and also just come here and do this. Automatically we have added up allowance. Like I said, if you wanted to add your zipper fly, this is what you're supposed to do. This is now my allowance that I added it to it. So I'm going to be cutting this up. I'll be cutting the zipper fly later on, okay? Or zipper. Yeah, I'm going to cut it up here like this. Remember I said my length was supposed to be 17, but I added 1 inch to it, so that it's going to be 18. Okay. We're adding 1/2 inch here because we'll be needing that odd to join up the waistband to the part. Just 1/2 inch is good to go. Now I'll cut this up like this. Remember I have already added all my sewing allowance, and I'll advise you to go ahead and add as much allowance as you can. So this is the front. Okay, this is the front. Like I said, this piece will not be enough for us to cut, but I'm going to be using this part of like this. I thought that it was going to be enough. Let's see what we have there. So this part, I think I'm going to use it for the waistband. Remember I said my waistband was going to be 2 inch. Is it actually for the waistband that I wanted to use? I wanted to do a so now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come here like this and just mark about 4 inch. 4 inch. This is what I'm going to be using for the over. I'll be using around 4 inch. We cut this, then we'll go ahead and cut up to the back of the pants, okay? And we have to cut this twice. So the other piece, I'm going to use it. I can use this piece to make something beautiful. I have to cut 2 of these. So let me quickly go ahead and cut my piece again for the back. I'm gonna fold. I was supposed to press it on. I'm going again like this. I'm gonna place this up like this. But when I fold it this time around, I want to make sure that they would have much allowance at the front, about 2 inch extra from what we have at the back, from what we have at the front, right? So this is it. So I'm going to make sure that I have extra allowance. Remember that this is already having an allowance here. All right, so I'm going to make sure that I have at least 1 inch of allowance here too. So And I make sure that I have at least 1.5 inch at this top part, because we're going to be needing that up. So I'm going to place it right on top of this line. Let's see what we have there. If it is 4, okay, so this is what we have. I'm going to pin. Now this is where you should focus more on. I'm going to go ahead and come here. First of all, I will extend my crochet extension from this line, not from this one, because that one is a sewing allowance. So I'm going to come here like this and place it up. Remember, the back is supposed to be longer than the front. So I'm going to come here like this and mark that point. At this point, I will do 1.5 inch. The length is going to be the same, sorry. The length is the same. And here, I'm going to go ahead and just connect this part up like this. And you see what I've just done there, right? Have you seen? Let me try to pull it, because I'm not even seeing what is being done at the top part anyway. So this is what I've done so far. I'll come here. Remember that we added 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and just do 1.5 inch from here. We already added up the sewing allowance. Normally we're supposed to do 1.5 inch from this top. Leave it up by 1.5 inch. Then from here, you're going to go in by let's just say 1.5 inch. So you're going to go up by 1.5 inch, go in by 1.5 inch. Now we're going to measure up whatever we have from this point to this point, which is 9.025. I'm going to come here and mark that 9.025. Remember that this is already having an allowance, so I'm going to mark that 9.025, which is right there. Now, before I do so, I'm going to go ahead, connect these points up with a straight line like this. Like that. So we'll connect this point from here to that 9.025. I'm having problem with my volume today. 9.025. Connect it all the way to that point. Now that we have done doing so, I'm going to just draw the hip line. Then we'll connect it up like this. I'm going to connect this part up like this, making sure it's not too curvy. Like this. Automatically what I've added here is 1 inch, if I'm not mistaken. It's 1.5 inch. Yeah, it's 1.5 inch from there, and then from here is just 3/4 inch. So I'm going to maintain that 3/4 inch all the way to this point. From here, I'm going to do a straight line. All right, then I do another straight line right here. Now, next thing we want to do is to come back here, which is the most important part. I'm going to connect it all the way to this point. Remember that we went in by 1.5 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this over. And I'm going to connect these points up using up this my curve. Make sure that it's not too curvy. It's not supposed to be too curvy. Alright, so I'm going to do these points up like this. Can you see that? Now that we are done doing so, it is our cutting time. It is a cutting time. Remember that we already have sewing allowance here, okay? So that's why you see me cutting like that. You already have sewing allowance right there. We already have 3/4 inch for the sewing allowance for the front, so we'll not be adding sewing allowance again at the front, at the back. Just at this side that we added at this, from this side. Okay, this is what we have. We have our pant for the back. We have the back and we have the front of it. Like I said, I'm going to be using a 10. Oh, let's see what I have there. I have to go ahead and reduce whatever I added for my 10 over. Okay, so I'm just going to use whatever I have here. Okay, that's why I don't like pulling off this part. When you pull it, it looks, it's like that. So this is the cutting. Okay, I'm gonna pick this other piece, place this on it. I hope. And make sure that we have the same thing. Okay, now let's now to, we're gonna cut the zipper allowance, the zipper plier. Now I'm gonna go ahead. Remember I had already added 3/4 inch, so I'm gonna do 1 inch on fold. You can do 1.5 inch. Let's just say 1.5 inch on fold, right there. 1.5 inch on fold. Then now I'm gonna go down by 7 inch. Okay, this is gonna be perfect for the boat. Yeah. By 7 inch. I'm also gonna mark this point up 14 in for the second one. Okay. I'll draw a start point, a straight line, all the way straight downward. Okay. Now, one of it is gonna be straight. One of this part is gonna be, one of this one is gonna be straight. So this other one, we're just gonna go ahead and give it a little curve right there. You see what I've just done, right? Then this part is gonna be straight. I just cut them on film because I'll be adding an interfacing inside. So I'll be adding an interfacing to it. Okay. So this is the first one, and here is the second. Why is this one? Let's see. Let's check if it's 7 inch. Yeah. All right. You're gonna decide if you want to add pocket to it or you don't want to add pocket to it. That's fine by you. I don't think I'm gonna add pocket to it. Should I add pocket? So this is it. If you want to add pocket to it, so first thing I'm gonna do, you're just gonna fold it over like this into two. I'm not be adding pocket to it because normally I don't. I think I'm gonna add something different. The back pocket. That's just all. Yeah, I'll not be adding up on my pocket. No, I'm not going to be adding pocket to it. I want to use this piece to do something. Okay, so we have cut all the pieces that we needed for this. We get the two zipper flyer, which I'm going to go and add an interface into it right now to give it that stability. This is the turnover for the hem. I have the front and the back. So I'll be coming back for the sewing, which is coming out very soon. Thank you so much. Hope to see you guys very soon. And my people on Facebook, I'm so sorry that there's no volume. The phone I'm using, it has not volume. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you.